Hey guys, it's Christy and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I have an all new review of the new Charlotte Tilbury Lovegasm face palette as well as the two Pinkgasm Jewel Lips lip glosses. So before we get into it, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel before you leave. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy, and let's get into it. Alright, so as always, I am incredibly excited to have a new Charlotte Tilbury release. Her products are my favorites to review. This is her new Lovegasm collection for summer 2023. I think this is limited edition. So we do get the new Lovegasm face palette. We have two lip glosses, and she also released a new beauty light wand in the shade Pinkgasm Sunset. So I didn't pick up the light wand just because I didn't feel that that particular shade would work well for me. I just think I'm a little too fair for it, so I didn't bother to pick that up. But I did have to pick up the glosses as well as the face palette. So there has been a little bit of confusion as to whether this face palette is the same as the one she released a few years ago, and from what I can tell, this one is different, but it's supposed to be able to work for deeper skin tones as well. So we're going to take a look at it today. I did not pick up the very first one she released, so I honestly don't know, but I do want to try this out and share my thoughts as well as try on the new glosses. So this is the new Lovegasm face palette in Lovegasm. The outer packaging is very beautiful, and you do get a highlighter, what looks like a blush topper, a pretty glowy blush, and a bronzer. The bronzer actually looks fairly deep, so I'm not 100% sure if it's going to work well for me. Looking at these right away, my mind keeps floating to the Nudegasm palette, so we are going to do a slight comparison of that one as well. Here are some swatches. I hope you can tell on camera, this is the highlight, and it is definitely going to be too deep for me. It's going to definitely have a cast, so this is one that I might use particularly for my eyes. This is the Multi-Glow blush, so it's got like it's kind of rosy, but it's got like a gold fleck to it. Then we have the Pop blush, which actually felt quite a bit drier when I was swatching it, but it's definitely less intense than this one. And then this is the bronzer. So it does look like it might be a little deep for me, but it does also look like something I'm going to be able to sheer out. Okay, so I just really quickly wanted to show you a comparison between the Nudegasm face palette because my mind just keeps wandering in that direction when I look at this palette. So don't mind mine, it is a little bit broken. So this is the Nudegasm, and here are swatches of the new Lovegasm palette, and this is the Nudegasm. So the highlighter is definitely a little bit more champagne and fair. The blush really isn't too similar. The blush pulls definitely a lot more peachy on this side. And then in the Nudegasm we get a contour and bronzer, so they're not really as similar as maybe I was thinking. I think those with fair skin will definitely appreciate the Nudegasm a little bit better. But let's get to putting this on the face. I'm just going to take my BK Beauty 103 brush. This is my favorite for bronzer, and I'm just going to go into this. I am worried it's going to be a little too deep, but we'll see. And I'm going to start over here. I feel like I didn't get much pigment at all. So right away, I feel like I'm noticing that it is pretty lightly pigmented. It's working for me. I feel like this bronzer has more of a reddish undertone than an orange, which for me is more flattering. It means it's not going to make me look orange, which I appreciate. This really doesn't pick up too much product on my brush. I have heard that this type of formula that she uses picks up a little bit better with natural hair brushes. So I will just mention that. I would probably do that if you're looking for more pigment. However, I will defer to somebody with a deeper skin tone to let us know if that works, if the shade works for them. It's working for me, which surprises me. So I'll just say that. I am going to go into the highlight, even though it's going to be way too deep for me, and I'm going to do that before I do blush so that I can use the blush to kind of blend it in. Okay. Yeah, the highlight is definitely too deep. It is leaving a bit of a cast, but I kind of knew it would. That's why I wanted to do it before blush. So the highlight is definitely going to work better on somebody who is maybe with a medium skin tone. That being said, if you are fair like I am, you can sheer it out because again, it doesn't pick up too heavily on a brush. All right, let's go into the Pop Blush and then we'll go into the Multi Glow. Some of her products in these palettes, I don't have any issues when it comes to pigment. Some of them are a little harder, but like I mentioned, I have heard that natural hair brushes work best with this formula. I just don't own any of those. This blush is quite pretty. It's got a slight luminosity to it. It's not overly sparkly like I thought it would be. It's got pigment, but it's not so pigmented that it's ever gonna look like too much, which I kind of like. I have historically been somebody who is a little shy when it comes to blush. I don't like using too much. Sometimes the brush gets away from me and I do, but I am a little bit more on the shy side when it comes to my blush. So I actually kind of do like how light this is. My only thought is, I don't know how it's gonna work on deeper skin tones. It's my only thought. Okay, let's go into the Multi Glow. And I'm just gonna pop this right on the apples of my cheeks. Oh yeah, that's got some glow to it, that's for sure. Okay, that definitely amped up the pigment and the glow. Not 100% sure how I'm feeling about this. So I do think this looks really, really nice, especially with my skin tone. The only thing that really doesn't work for me is the highlight, which I'm not disappointed about. I should mention, I think in my excitement, I glazed over some of the main details. This palette does retail for $75 US. That is her typical price for any of her face palettes, so again, very pricey, but it is standard for Charlotte Tilbury's face palettes. That is across the board the price of pretty much all of her face palettes. This does have a 30-month shelf life, which I kind of love. I typically see a lot of brands do 12 or 24, so I do love to see a 30. I think that's really nice. This is also made in Italy, and it does say you can use it all over the face or the eyes, but I mean that is true for any face palette. You can always use your powders on the eyes for the most part. I do think it's quite pretty. I do think the highlight is going to end up being much more of an eye product for me though. It's definitely not going to be for my face. Let's move into the glosses and then we will come back and discuss our overall thoughts. So these are the Pinkgasm Jewel Lips Easy to Apply Dazzling Diamond Glosses. She did release two shades. There is Pinkgasm and then there is Pinkgasm Sunset. So very, very pretty packaging. So here we have Pinkgasm, which is a really pretty baby pink with a slight sparkle to it. So it's just your general baby pink. Very, very pretty. Very me, definitely a type of gloss I'm going to reach for. And then the one I almost didn't get, but I just think it looks really, really pretty, is Pinkgasm Sunset. So this is red with the gold fleck to it. And this one just looks like this, so it's not as intimidating as you might think. Very, very pretty as well. So I do think I want to wear the regular Pinkgasm today, but let's put on Pinkgasm Sunset. And I don't have any lip liner or anything like that on. I just want you to see the color. So this is Pinkgasm Sunset. So like I mentioned, not nearly as intimidating as it looks in the bottle. It does look like pretty much a red lip gloss, but it does feel really nice on the lips. It's a little bit of a thicker consistency, but it's not sticky, which is my main pet peeve when it comes to lip glosses. So I'm not complaining about this. I really like this. I think I really like this formula. I will also say she used a pretty normal looking doe foot on this one, just a very basic doe foot. It is rounded and then flat on each side. So very easy to work with, not like the heart shape she has on the collagen lip baths, which I think are nice, but hard to get out of the tube. And let's try on Pinkgasm. So this is more of our baby pink, same kind of applicator. Okay, so very, very pretty, definitely more of a baby pink. These are a really, really nice formula. I love that they're not sticky. I like that it's a little bit thicker because I feel like it's going to last a little bit longer. Very, very comfortable, feels very hydrating. And let me tell you, I was traveling last week and my lips were so painfully dry. They're still pretty miserable and uncomfortable at the moment, but this gloss is making them feel really, really nice. So I can tell these are incredibly hydrating. I'm not sure which shade I like best. I think I might actually prefer Pinkgasm Sunset, which is weird. I've always been a baby pink gloss girl, but I think I prefer Pinkgasm Sunset. But the glosses are an absolute thumbs up for me. These are $34 though, and they are also made in Italy, so they are great quality. They feel amazing on the lips. I actually do love these. I would recommend these any day over her collagen lip bath glosses. I do have trouble recommending $30-something for a lip gloss, but these are good. Let me pop off camera. I'm going to finish the rest of my makeup and then I'll be right back with my final thoughts. All right, so the rest of the makeup is done. Let's talk about this palette. So it is unfortunate that I didn't try the first one because I don't know how similar they are. What I will say is that all of these shades seem to have worked pretty well on my fair skin, so I'm not sure if it really has been reformulated to suit deeper skin tones. The highlight, definitely too deep for me, definitely going to be a product I use on the eyes. The bronzer worked very, very well. It was not too pigmented by any means and definitely doesn't have an orange base. The pop blush is definitely a much drier shade when I swatch it. It very much reminds me of NARS Orgasm. On the cheeks, it was definitely a much lighter blush, but very pretty, very wearable, very everyday. Kind of just gave the skin like a healthy blush. The Multi Glow. This really made the cheeks pop. Definitely packed a lot more pigment, definitely packed a lot more shimmer. So this one is almost a little bit too much for me, but if I go in with the light hand, I'll definitely enjoy it. Again, when I compared it to the Lovegasm, they're really not that similar at all. I do think Lovegasm will suit fair skin tones a lot better. This one I can see light to maybe medium working well. I would also try, if you own natural hair brushes, try using those with this as opposed to synthetic. I think you will pick up a lot more pigment. That's the only thing. And then maybe this could work for some deeper skin tones. But otherwise, I think this is pretty. I think this is a great addition to my collection. Again, I know $75, very, very pricey, but we all know I am an absolute sucker for these face palettes. I love them. I will definitely get a lot of use out of them. Moving into the glosses, I love them. I don't really think you need both, but if you want to, go for it. I don't know that she's had this collection before. I think these are a limited edition, but I like this lip gloss formula so much more than her others. Her collagen lip bath, first of all, the applicator is so hard to get out of the tube, and then on top of that, it is a stickier formula. These are so comfortable, very, very hydrating on the lips. My lips have not felt this good in over a week at this point, and they're not at all sticky, which is a huge thing with me. I think these are a phenomenal formula. They are pricey. They are $34, which is an awful lot for a lip gloss. But if you're a big fan of gloss, you get a lot of use out of it, and you really, really hate sticky glosses, you might really enjoy this formula. That is it for me today. Let me know down below if this collection piqued your interest. I love hearing from you guys. Thank you so very much for watching. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you leave. I do upload at least 3 new videos every single week. Thank you again so very much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!